we're talking about gear, and we're gonna look through some of the stuff that I have, things that I really, really regret buying, and things that I actually really, really am glad that I bought and use pretty frequently. We're gonna get this out of the way. First things first, we're gonna talk about my shoulder rig kit. We got GVM V-mount battery, 154 watt hours, BV 160, solid, good buy. Small rig battery plate, um, pretty good. It has an additional 1D tap, 3 barrel plugs, a USB, has a button to turn it on and off so you're not just burning through battery. And it comes on, it has a rail attachment, and it has a little adapter that's pretty good. This is a Camvate shoulder pad. This thing is way better than the stock shoulder pad that came with the small rig. This is an upgraded small rig shoulder mount, shoulder rig. The pad that came with it was like this thin piece of rubber, terrible. This Camvate one actually sits on your shoulder. It's like, you know, made to actually go in there. So it works a lot better. That's pretty solid. These new arms, I just bought these. They extend way past, way better than the stock ones, which are right here. Because instead of your hands being up here when you're operating, your hands can be down here when you're operating, and that's where you want your hands. These handles suck, but they're stock, and the first kit was like $100. This is how I used to put my monitors on here, and I've changed that, and you'll see that in a second. Little clamp sucks. Magic arm sucks. They don't hold any weight more than like 4 pounds, and it's really, really annoying when you're like trying to do stuff. This little Portkeys 5-inch monitor, this thing's great. Tiny little monitor, gives you a feed, and it looks pretty good. Not super color accurate though, and it's kind of dark. Can't use it outside. It has a sunshade that it came with though. I just don't know where I'd put it. That thing, pretty solid. Boom. Moving on. Up next, we got, what should we do so I can get it off my desk? This lens is a vintage M42. It's like a 200 millimeter. I don't know if you can see that. 200 millimeter. This thing sucks. M42 mount means it screws on. I did adapt it. 3.3, f3.3, which is fine. But the little, you know, like sun guard, I gotta sneeze. The little, you know, whatever, I don't know what this is called, thing that like keeps the glares out, it doesn't lock into place, which sucks. And the lens just doesn't look that great. It's very, very fuzzy. I have taken it apart and cleaned it, and like it doesn't look like there's anything, like there's no fungus in here or anything. It just is bad. I don't know. It was super cheap though. I got it like at an antique store, and meh, whatever. I also bought a 135 with it that I lent to a friend, and just haven't gotten it back. It's not their fault. I just don't really need it yet. That lens, the 135, great, but it doesn't focus to infinity, and I think that's an issue with adapting it. It's also an M42. This case also kind of sucks because it's all like falling apart and there's a bunch of glue on the top, but it's like leather, and that's cool. So we'll take it. DJI Mic 2 wireless lavs. These things, pretty good from what I've experienced, except the transmitter broke on me and the little out port doesn't work. The cord doesn't work when it goes in here. Don't know why. It works fine when you plug it into the headphone jack. You can see I'm recording right now. When you plug it into the little headphone out, you hear everything fine. When you plug it into the out, where you're supposed to plug it in, you get nothing. I don't know why. Other people have that problem. DJI hasn't fixed it. It might be a firmware thing. Who knows? Really weird, really annoying. But you can record internally to the microphone, so it's fine. Mics work great. Bought some lav mics. Those work great. So all in all, I give it like a 7. I wish the transmitter still worked. It's really, really annoying that it doesn't. Rode VideoMic Go 2. VideoMic Go 2. This thing, pretty solid. Not a huge pickup. Not a lot of voice isolation. It's just a shotgun mic, but it does a decent job. And it's like cheap. I got it for like, I don't know, maybe 100 something bucks at like Best Buy. Pretty good. Especially if you just need scratch audio. I mean, I wouldn't use this as my main, but for scratch audio, it is pretty decent. Boom. Good. Rechargeable batteries. One's missing because it's in my shotgun mic, which is not here right now. That is somewhere else, and I should have grabbed it. These things are awesome. IKEA has cheaper ones than these. You should just go buy them at IKEA because they're cheap and they're just as good. I mean, batteries are batteries pretty much. And I don't think the IKEA ones are going to set anything on fire. These are good though. This big old light is red when they're not charged, and it's green when they are charged. Great. MPF batteries. These are for powering monitors, wireless receivers, transmitters, a bunch of stuff. These things kind of suck. They last decently long. They're just bulky, and they come with like one battery charger, so you either have to buy like a supercharger. You gotta charge them one by one. I just use a dummy battery most of the time, but these things are fine if I'm doing something that I know is not going to last very long and I'm not on a film set all day. I got mine from GVM because they're cheaper. This is a 750/7070 MPF. I know SmallRig has some new ones that are like USB-C, and I don't know, those might be really good, but I'm not going to buy one because I have dummy batteries anyways. Next up, DJI Mini Pro 3. I do not fly this thing enough. It's good. It's a good drone. It was pretty cool when it came out. When I got it, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. But I just don't use it enough. It's really hot out right now, and I'm never like, oh man, I really want to go fly my drone because I'm not super into it. It's cool, but you know, it's cool. It's fine. I'd give it like. It's like really dusty because I haven't touched this thing in like a year. The battery sucks on it though. You get like less than 30 minutes of battery, and it only came with one. So I could buy more batteries, but then I'm like putting money into it, and I don't fly it enough to buy that. So, and then also if you get the upgraded battery, then it's over the weight limit to where you like need special licenses to do things with it. And I'm not really trying to do all that either. So it's fun when you need it. When somebody's like, hey, can you get this drone shot? And you're like, yeah, why not? It's great. Really small, really easy to pack up. Let's talk lenses. Lenses. Actually, not lenses yet. We're going to go right to left, my right. SmallRig follow focus. This thing, solid, except you can't reverse the gear. It only rotates one way. Even if you unscrew it and put it on the other side, it only rotates one way, which sucks because then when I'm pulling focus, I can't get it to like further away is away from me and closer is closer to me unless I put it on the left. But I don't like putting it on the left because that's where I put my monitor for my shoulder rigs, and then I can't like have stability and look at my monitor because then I'm all like instead of being like, it makes sense to me, but it's fine. It's good. It's a good follow focus. I don't have a wireless follow focus. This one does its job. Standard rail mount, and it's adjustable on the angle, and that's all you really need this thing to do. It rotates and it pulls focus. It's fine. It's great. Up next, we got Moment camera filters. This is my variable ND. This thing, pretty solid, 77 millimeters because all of my lenses are 77 for the most part. This one doesn't take lens filters because it's a fisheye. But, boom, look at that. That's 4 stops of ND. You want to see 32 stops of ND? Boom, that's 32 stops of ND. Look at that. Bam. It works. It's solid, and it has a really, I really like the red accent on it. It's really nice. And I use this frequently with my little SmallRig matte box because this has step-up rings that take, you can screw these into this ring, and then you screw that ring. It's a clamp-on matte box, so you screw that ring onto your lens, and it just works. And also, this lets you screw another filter onto the inside, but you can also screw other filters onto the back because all of their filters are made to work together, and they come in these cool little cases with little sheets, like these little like microfibers, or to get them off the lens if they get stuck. You put your lens on it and then you rotate it for friction. This one is the, Ooh, Cinebloom Diffusion. You guys want to see that? That one's fun. This one, nice little lens. It will attach to the ND. This one doesn't need to spin, so it's fine. But look at that. Ooh, look at that halation. Isn't that beautiful? Bam, bam. Let's bring that lamp back in here. Look at that. Ooh, look at all that bloom. Bloom. That's what you want. That's cinematic. Don't you love that word? Oh, shit. Anyways, move that around. Boom, put that back into its case. I forgot to put the little thingy in there, so we'll put that back. We'll take care of these. These are nice. I'd give these like an 8 out of 10. They're a little expensive, but so is every other filtration kit, and I'm not using 3x5 filters yet because I don't need to. This thing does accept 3x5s though. You kind of just stick them in here. I think it's 3x5. It's like, sorry, it's 4x5.65. It has it written here. So you could put ones in there if you want. But those are even more expensive, and I have the variable ND, so I might as well just use the variable ND. That one has like a really slight green color cast, I think, but it doesn't have any of like that X patterning when you use it. So it's solid. And the green doesn't really bother me. I mean, you can barely notice it. It's if you're like pixel peeping, then you'll like notice it. Matte box, cool. Give that a 10 out of 10 because it does what it does. iFixit kit. This thing is my go-to set screwdriver. Want to know why? Because Allen keys suck. Allen keys do not work. This has Allen keys in it. Boom, little screwdriver. You got enough torque. But it also has, I don't know what they're called. It has those little specialty star ones. And these right here, this thing right here, these just work better. These will go into Allen keys and they will just actually have traction and you won't strip the hell out of your Allen key using it. So these just kind of work better, and I like using these. It also has a flathead. It has some like little sockets. It has a bunch of Phillips. It has tiny, tiny little star-shaped ones, whatever those are, and tiny, tiny little flatheads. And it was just a good purchase. I also take apart a lot of electronics with it, and it's just good to have on a set in case you really need to get in there. So I give that like a 9 out of 10. Now we'll talk about lenses because these are all here. Canon EF 17 to 40 zoom lens. This thing, pretty solid. Not the sharpest in the world. It's an minimum f4. I think it might be a constant f4, which is fine. But if you like really sharp, really, really deep depth of field, you're not going to get on this lens. But that's not what this lens is for. It's a photography lens, and I just bought it because I needed a wide enough lens for some music video stuff, and it worked out. Up next, we have this little TT Artisans macro. This is a 60mm macro lens. This thing is fine. I bought it to scan film negatives, so it works. And I put this on my little Canon M50, which we'll see in a second. Canon Nifty 50. This one's sitting on a Viltrox adapter for my Canon M50. Nifty 50, great lens. I mean, I got this for like 80 bucks used, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful lens. People recommend that one all the time, and I understand why. Canon FDs. This is my 50mm Canon FD. Bought them from a friend. These things are beautiful, and they are my go-to lens sets because they just have a beautiful, beautiful look, and I have a whole set of them, so they all match. I have a 50, 24, 35, 85, and I really, really enjoy the look on those. Rokinons. This is my Rokinon 24mm. This is one of the first cinema lenses I bought, and T has T-stops. That's how you know it's legit. T 1.5 to 22, 24mm geared. This thing, it's great. It's great. This is a Lumix 20 to 60. Got this in Japan, 200 bucks used L mount for my Sigma FP. This is my Rokinon 50mm EF. I have a little Veltrox adapter. This adapter is really interesting because the way it works is it's a locking EF. So you put your lens in there like this, where like you would already have it rotated in a position, and then you spin this ring. You spin this ring instead of rotating the lens, and it does a good job. It keeps it in there. Keeps it in there. So really happy with that. Sigma FP. This camera, bought it for Japan. It is awesome. When it's not in this giant cage with this stupid handle and SSD on it, it is in a tiny form factor. It is so fun to shoot with, and it looks amazing. First lens I got for it was this little 35 millimeter. This thing is just a pancake lens. It's also Seven Artisans, which actually this is Seven Artisans. This isn't TT Artisans. Those are two different brands. Seven Artisans got this little 35 millimeter from them. It has like a built-in lens cap. Forgot what the word was for that. I literally glued a step-up ring onto it because I knew I'd need ND filters, and so I just super glued one on there because this lens was like 20 bucks, and it's decent. The focusing's a little weird, and it's L mount, but my Japan kit was literally these two, this little lens and this tiny camera, until I bought the 20 to 60 used, and it worked. You can find that post on the Yuzu Video Instagram. You can see some of the footage from this camera graded with Dehancer through DaVinci. This lens isn't a lens. This is a mug that my partner found secondhand at a thrift store and thought it was cute. So it's broken, it's cracked, and I am not going to drink out of it. And this is part of a candle. It fit in there, so I just put it in there. And I'll put stuff in it, but I'm not going to drink out of it because that's weird. It's one of those little photography mugs, but it looks like it's a Caniam. It's a Caniam ultrasonic, made in China. Macro 24 to 105. It doesn't have a aperture. It's kind of this. It's kind of really similar to this one, huh? But white. It doesn't have an aperture on it though. Oh, it says 1 to 4. I don't know. Weird. Anyways, this is a mug. Boom. That's the lens. Canon M50. First camera I bought out of high school. This thing sucks for video work. It is not good for video work. Really good for photography. It has like a 24 megapixel sensor and it's tiny. And it comes with this cute little kit lens you can just slap on there. Boom. And the cool thing about the lens is it locks. So you gotta like push this little thing and then you gotta like unlock it for it to work. Terrible for filmmaking. Just not good. Not what I should have bought, especially because I was using G85s and GH5s and I knew how to use those and I knew they worked. So I should have just got one of those. But I got this instead, and it was like $800 for this kit lens with the kit lens, and it worked. And I got through it, and I started eventually just adapting it. I started using some vintage. This is a Minolta 50mm Rokkar lens, and I just bought an adapter to put that on there, and that really made it work. Just that vintage kind of like older lens with a unique look really helped this camera be decent. This camera doesn't have any color settings for video. I don't know. I think it has peaking, just not a video camera, but I still use it to scan my negatives so that it works for that. But this lens really helped, and then eventually I upgraded and I got the Viltrox mount adapter EF to EOS M 0.71 times. So this is a speed booster. It makes that little APS-C sensor in there a pseudo full frame, and then it takes EF lenses. So I upgraded to this, and I got this nifty 50, and then I bought the Rokinons, and I started shooting the Rokinons on this, and that also really helped this camera a lot. But still, it only shot in like Rec 709, no log profile, nothing. So color was always an issue for me. So eventually I upgraded to the Blackmagic 6K, which you're looking at now. This is an EVF adapter, an EVF mount from SmallRig that I just recently bought. Have not shot with this yet, but this is for my shoulder rig because, as you saw with the Magic Arm, that's how I was setting up my monitor, and I wasn't using that little 5-inch monitor. I'm using the 7-inch monitor that I'm using now because when I'm shooting outside, I can actually see with this one because it's a super bright. So I bought this, and this, just setting it up, rigging it when I got it, like this is already going to work so much better. There's a built-in NATO rail on the side of the SmallRig cage that I use for this camera, and they send you a NATO rail to put onto your EVF or your monitor that you can just throw on here, and it's already just so much better. It's freaking awesome. So yeah, that's kind of most of my gear. Let's see, we're gonna turn this on here, and let's see what I'm shooting with currently. Currently, I have the Blackmagic 6K Pro, which great camera. Love that camera. Shoot all of my short film stuff on it. There's a little iFootage, tiny little tripod. That's a little Camvate V-mount battery, 99 watt, and then some Condor Blue cables. A Feel World. This is a Feel World 4K ultra bright 7-inch monitor. This thing gets really hot, but it's like 2,200 nits, so you can actually see it during the daytime, and that's awesome. And also, I have a Amaran 60X. It's a bicolor Amaran LED light, and I just recently got this softbox for it, which is lighting me right now, which if I turn this lamp off, it probably looks a little better. But I like that light. It's a good light, and I have some other crappy Amazon softboxes and stuff that I do not use. But that is most of my gear. I also have some other lenses that aren't here, an old Nikon that I don't shoot with, and a bunch of film cameras that I'll make a different video about, going through all my film cameras and what I like and don't like about those and how I got into film photography. But yeah, that's all the gear I use, and I love this little camera. This thing's awesome. Sigma FPs are pretty sweet. And yeah, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'm probably not going to edit this one down a lot either because it's not worth it. I hope you enjoyed getting a look into my gas, or aka gear acquisition syndrome. Bought a lot of this stuff just because I had the money to do so, because I'm, not paying for anything else. And some of it works really well, and some of it does not work at all. Some of it I regret buying, like that stupid vintage film lens that doesn't work. It's just kind of a waste of space. There's some tripods over there too. Tripods are good. Both fluid head tripods. And yeah, try to avoid gas if you can. It's hard though. It's really hard. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And check out the Creeper fridge and all the stuff behind me. Appreciate it. Bye.